And what's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5. Can you believe it? Episode 5 of All About Millennials. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for the second week in a row for just tuning in. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, thank you for tuning in for the 5th time. And with me, as always, it's Donaze, by the way. With me, as always, I got my lovely co-host, Maurer. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm super excited.
And you know the memes are out today because not only is this episode 5, there's also a special meme that if you weren't paying attention to Instagram earlier this week, that today is about. And it's gonna be May.
Oh, shoot. Wow, I missed that one. I'm upset with myself. Is it really? Oh, my God.
Yep. Welcome to May 1st, baby.
Time is just escaping me. I don't have track of days anymore.
I don't neither, but if I wasn't so busy, it would escape me. But how's it been for you, though, lately?
I'm just like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Wow, I skipped 2 days of that week. That's exactly my mind. It's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday in my mind. Yeah, I'm just like, and today is Sunday, so I have this task. And then today is, I'm just a machine right now.
Well, good for you. Today, or shall I say tonight, is a Friday night.
Ooh.
So just be...
Ooh.
So just chill, be easy.
Just kidding.
Just chill, be easy, but let's not get all too carried away. We still got a job to do. And with that being said, would you mind telling these fine people what's going on today?
So today, episode 5, we are talking about art versus artist. And can we distinguish the two? Now, when we think about art and artists, we think about the greats, the most influential people in the world. And I think for us, we're probably going to focus on music. I think that might be the way it goes. Maybe a little bit of acting.
I'm thinking music and sports as well. Sports as well.
So more of the performing recreational aspect than like Michelangelo.
Right.
Not that I have any clue about him besides his work. So maybe that proves my point. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Donaze, I've got some intriguing questions for you. I want to kind of know what your biggest inspirations in arts and entertainment are, or who I should say.
Okay, that depends on the time frame. And it's weird to say now considering and everything, but you have to go back being a dancer and being any style of performer, especially from the Midwest, you have to throw in the Jacksons, which is so weird to say in 2020 with everything going on.
So that's like one of your inspirations, your whole timeline of your life, kind of.
Dancing and performing, yes. And especially having so many friends back home that are from Gary, yeah, you can't really escape like the Jacksons and who they are. However, you can't avoid the elephants in the room.
Right. So you say you can't avoid the Jacksons, or so basically they're obviously the biggest inspirations, as you said. So, and you also said, and who they are. Did I just repeat myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second
thing. Basically, you said something. My mind just went blank. Basically,
avoiding the elephant in the room.
Right before that.
Avoiding who they are and like,
what they do.
Right.
Okay. So I want to address what the Jacksons do. Is that different than who they are? Or could you expand on that?
Okay. So, and this is how I perceived the topic when I was thinking about it. And separating the artist from the art is the is someone always going to be defined by what they do on the court, in the studio, or in there, or is all that goodwill diminished by what they did behind the scenes, like Janet Jackson in the Super Bowl, or do we even need to say like what Michael was accused of till his for like really recently?
No, we probably don't need to expand on that. So
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I think listeners understand. So controversies can definitely get in the way of a superstar's career. And um, I think this is where we really dive into the meat of what we're talking about today, because you made such good points. And I want to know kind of what you've heard from people around you or things that have said on the internet as far as opinions before we kind of go into our own opinions. I want to discuss how we view how other people view this issue.
Okay, so there's three different industries that I'm going to focus on in this point right now. I'm going to break it down by industry. Hernandez and the New England Patriots. Aaron Hernandez himself wiped Thanos from existence. The New England Patriots, like, it almost felt like a slap in the wrist, and this is not coming from the Indianapolis guy being anti-Patriots. This is just coming from a football fan. Kind of felt like it was swept under the rug, Deflategate and everything else, and just let the actions on the field speak for themselves. And then I was touching on this with a friend of ours, Trico, and we touched on that Chris Benoit scenario. Yeah, the man, granted, committed a murder suicide of his wife and his son. So where even he will never get recognized by any professional wrestling company on air again for what he did, but yet taking him down with it because of his name value, his son, his the woman he killed, his wife, his late wife, and then the son he left living, they, their legacy has to be is going to be diminished because of that name.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was getting at, and what I perceived by this is, does somebody by name value or just being associated because of one infidelity by someone that can't even defend themselves anymore define the name, the brand, and the legacy of all those close to that person by name value that are still living?
Right. And I want to play a little devil's advocate there. We have a scenario of a male that is at such high caliber in the sports industry, and then there's all this controversy happening there. And I actually had a similar conversation with my boyfriend last night about Cardi B and the controversy with her being a stripper early on in her career, or I mean, before her career really started in the music industry. But now the news has come to light that strippers in general, including Cardi B, will basically Me Too some guys who are under the influence and can't make decisions for themselves, yet people still follow her work. And so there's a little bit of that double standard there, um, that makes it such a hard thing to determine if that controversy will tarnish the brand, the name, the art, and the legacy.
Okay, so are you saying Me Too as in you yourself, or Me Too as in the movement?
The movement.
Okay, now that changes a little bit. And this is where I do think this discussion really can hinder a lot. And it's all about accusation versus factual proof. And that's the thing, like things that were just people are accused of can easily wreck their life without general proof. So for me,
What if she admits to it? Does that change how you view her?
and I'm getting to that,
Hmm.
I kind of wash my hands with it because it is unproven details and just hearsay at that point. Granted, it is a very serious hearsay. And why, even when it came down to the Bill Cosby scenario, I washed my hands of that entirely for the longest. And to say, like, I didn't care for the whole Bill Cosby thing for a while is hypocritical. No, it's just there were a lot of accusations thrown and nothing was proven. And granted, it's a very serious thing, but it's like you don't know, and people could easily just be jumping the shark for name value and just trying to build publicity or build their name value just to trash somebody else. So you don't know these things until something gets proven. So that's what I look for when it comes to any of these random cases, Cardi B included. And when you brought up Cardi B, I thought you were about to jump into a discussion either on Nicki Minaj or Azalea Banks.
Yeah, no, I was just strictly referring to Cardi B's one incident, but that's also another thing, which I personally have been a fan of Azalea Banks, and well, one song in particular, but I actually didn't even know about the whole controversy with her until last week. So
I was gonna say, wow, out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
That's
like
how I found out.
well, yeah, and I haven't seen Wild 'N Out in so long, but it's been so long, since basically, I mean, she's obviously continuing to trash her name according to like news articles, but I had no idea. Did that change how I felt about something that she made 20 years ago? That's kind of something that I want to go into in the second half. We're gonna say that for later.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm like, whoo, that's spicy, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, let's move on from that because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I don't want to
hamper.
specifically talk about her, but
Yeah,
kind
that
of to the point of separating the art and the artist.
right, and that's the one thing I think with us today is going to be towing that fine line and not bashing one particular scenario versus well, we're gonna hamper on one specific like incident that has happened in like the last going on I've 30 years, and I say 30 because December, hello. But for me, but at the end of the day, it's just like focusing on one issue. And if you want to talk to us about any specific issue, like I'm an open book, Kayla's an open book, hit us up on social media and we'll go through it.
Yeah. And so basically, as we go into the second half, and how are we running on time?
We're doing good on time.
Okay. Because I feel like we kind of like hit everything in the first half, but I'll kind of like go into the second half, like lead it in before the commercial break.
Yeah, lead it.
But if there's anything else you want to say before the first half ends.
And with that being said, let's take it a break, guys.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing. So, as we go into the second half, I want to ask more about maybe the marketing aspect. That's what I want to go into. In the second half, we'll talk more about the marketing aspect of separating the art from the artist and how people view the artist and the art as one.
Can I please send it a break, or do you need one more thing? Because I botched it. I am so sorry.
It's okay.
Lady.
Send it to break.
Okay. We'll see you guys in a minute. Ta-ta.
Yo, guess what?
What?
Seriously, with this podcast thing, I don't know if you know that there is a free tool for us to upload and edit our podcasts.
You lying?
No, I'm serious. All you have to do is download Anchor and it'll distribute your podcast for you to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the streaming platforms.
Seriously?
Seriously. Wait a
Okay.
second. We use Anchor.
We do?
Hell yeah.
Touche, yeah. Alright.
All right, you guys got to get on that.
And welcome back, everybody. This has been one intriguing, yet surprisingly, not one avenue centered discussion. What do you think, Kaehla?
I think there's so much that we went into in the first half that we didn't even see coming. And with that being said, we're going to kind of focus more on the art itself as opposed to the controversies it might cause. So basically in the first half, we decided that there's a very fine line between the art and the artist and how you, the artist, can do things in your personal life that can make or break your career, despite how talented you are. And so I want to go more into the actual art itself. When we think of an artist, we think of their work. When we think of an athlete, we think of their statistics. And at what point do we separate the two?
Now, this is one of those things that really is weird to say. And I know I brought up a couple of good things, decent, real things, and I want to go back to it. When it comes to the Jacksons, specifically Nipplegate 2004, and don't look up the clip, just trust me. Do not.
Now I'm going to look it up.
I'm referring to it. Yes, I'm referring to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
That year.
Okay. Janet Jackson, Super Bowl, Justin Timberlake.
2004.
To be honest, I was thriving in that halftime show.
Was it before or after Rock Your Body?
I was such a huge fan of that song, and I was like, oh, that's sparkly.
We were both kids. I was 13. You were what? Like, still little. Quite. But still, we didn't know what was going on.
Oh, but I knew.
Nah, it happened so quick. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those blunders. Like, you're like, wait, what happens?
But then again, like, here's the thing. I'm a little free-spirited, but I don't see that as something to break your career. If anything, if this happened now and we saw that happening, it would be Justin Timberlake in the hot seat. It wouldn't be Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But I kind of want to talk about, not to cut you off.
No worries.
But I mean, Janet Jackson's career definitely did shift after that.
Yeah, and his shifted for a while, but it rebounded within a couple of years.
And now we're in this era of like free the nipple and Me Too, and it's just like
that's why Lizzo's butt was exposed at the Lakers game.
Yeah, I guess Lizzo does what Lizzo wants. She's like,
and nobody said anything.
The truth hurts, and here it is in the camera. That's exactly what we were talking about in the first half. Honestly, it's just muddy water at that point, and I want to talk about the Jacksons and the aspect of them growing up in the industry, because I find it really intriguing that you use them as an example. And when I think of the Jacksons, I think of how they were, I don't want to use the word manipulated, but they were literally 24/7 on the microphone, on the dance floor, like from day one. And there's actually that whole like controversy there about them being like child stars. But it's like everybody got to know them as these talented individuals, or talented group, I should say, that the reality of them being a child, being children, being brothers, growing up, was kind of put on the back burner to the business.
I agree, and here's the thing: when it comes to all child stars, think of how the Maurer family like turned out. Nobody realized outside of T and Termera for a while that there were more siblings, and then Taj got thrown onto Smart Guy like it was nothing. Mary-Kate and Ashley, and we all know what happened after that.
Yeah.
After Full House. So yeah, it's like the more perceived value as children and growing up, and the more time you are in the limelight, we have this overall like almost glass ceiling to what people perceive you as. And then there's those that can either A, rise above and use that brand to really make a difference, or B, let that brand and let that perception of what we see really hinder them either mentally or physically, to where it's just like, oh, poor baby, or some we just want to see like, yeah, that sucker needs to die like yesterday.
Right. And I like the way that you talked about the branding, because that's exactly what came to my mind. I think of like Beyonce with branding that's gone right. She basically was a child star. You know, she worked her way up since she was 16 years old.
Right.
But she has created this image for herself as a strong mother, family figure, women empowerment, like that kind of thing. And even still, I think what I'm trying to get at is maybe it's more about the branding than the art itself then, because maybe she could put out any type of art, but because she has that brand of being that strong woman, that people will follow behind her. And also, I think people tend to look at the artist, wow, this is blowing my mind, to look at the artist not as their art but as their brand, really.
I agree, and you know what I'm realizing? For anybody listening out there, anybody watching this, please, if you remember the Beehive or the Jackson fan club, Jackson 5, Jackson family, please don't. These are all opinions. These are all commentaries over topics. Do not have our heads on a pike. Please. Please.
Yeah, we love them.
We love them. We love both entities. It's just a commentary. Though, this is the point we are making. Like, yes, art versus freaking artist. Beyonce, like Kaehla just said, Solange, since they were in their teens. The Jacksons, since they were babies. And they are in their 50s right now. Have been in the limelight. So please, do not try and have wanted posters out for either of us. Maybe Kaehla, I'm too pretty.
Hey, I'm wanted, but I'm just wanted. I'm not wanted for
Chill.
say treason. I don't know. Not wanted for a crime. I'm just wanted. No, but I really this is why I loved this topic for today, because I think at the end of the day, the point I like to make about this is I've heard so many people talk about, or either bashing or in a positive way talking about, artists like they can have an opinion on them as people when they don't know them as people. You only know what you see from their art or from the media, which I'm not going to get into how the media portrays people. But I think at the end of the day, you can't really it boils down to like the theme of you can't judge a person unless you actually know them and, like you said, know the facts of what happened. And if there are, yes, if there are plenty of news articles and proof and stuff like that, definitely you can form an opinion. But like you said, there's so much like he said, she said with no proof, or people are just trying to get under their skin because of whatever reasons that we don't know about in the entertainment industry. And I personally hear a lot of people talk about how they have opinions on a person based on knowing barely anything about them.
Which I honestly am just enamored by all of that, man. And what it comes down to, and I hate to say this is a sad truth in society, I've heard this so much that it is so negatively perceived and people just do it. And that is just because they live in the same city, same venue, or even go to like the same supermarket as a celebrity, they claim that they know that celebrity without even saying,
Hello.
without getting drop kicked by security. Hi, how are you?
Right. Yeah. And
And
I think, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we're very early on in our careers, but I don't know who you've worked with or been around, but I definitely choose to form an opinion on someone if I actually, like you said, say hi, have that even first name basis with them
right.
before
And
I make an opinion. Or I have a lot of celebrities I idolize because I separate what I hear from the media from their talent, their genius, whatever.
and ironically what you said gets dangerous. And what you just said gets dangerous. It's idolizing a celebrity based off what you see on camera. And
Well,
that,
I idolize their work. I idolize their ability,
okay,
because you can separate, let's say, a singer versus a singer songwriter producer.
true. But can you separate, and this goes back to the topic of today, can you separate the singer or the singer songwriter from who they are outside of the studio?
You don't know them.
Exactly.
So
And with that being said, anything else you want to grill me with before we wrap this bad boy up?
uh who no who is someone you idolize?
Oh, so we're taking it right back to the top of the hour. Oh,
Full circle. No, I really though love this conversation. We could definitely dive in more, and I feel like being able to talk about controversy, whether or not people agree, we do have a little bit of an opinion without being disrespectful, hopefully. But we we definitely have our perspective on things, being that we have to worry about these exact topics every day of our lives.
Oh
And
yeah.
and like I said, it boils down to um I think an objective view of the art versus the artist and a subjective view of art versus artist. And if you're looking at it objectively, this is my opinion, and grill me if you want, people, listeners. But if you're viewing it objectively, there is not as much of a right or wrong there as subjectively. You can hate someone as a person, but you know that they are the top of the top. And I'm
And
not going to name any people, but
yeah.
honestly, there are people that I'm like, I don't agree with the choices they've made for publicity, but their ability to put this work out and just hustle and build their business is a whole, it's like Wolf of Wall Street. The
Mm.
main character is a terrible person, but everyone loves the movie, or everyone that loves the movie loves the drive that this person has and the influence that he has,
And nobody can
and everyone is
confirm any
entitled
of
to
that.
their own opinion.
And speaking of Wolf of Wall Street, nobody thought Leo was that same guy even after it. He was just praised for his performance in that movie, even though his character was a certified.
Exactly.
Yep. So, and at the end of the day, all this is just opinion based off our own experiences.
Of
And
course.
somebody didn't mute their
What?
phone.
Say that again.
Somebody didn't mute their
No,
phone.
not that part.
But at the end of the day, it's like it's all opinion based off experiences. And speaking of that, as we in this bad boy, we're considering opening up a Patreon to where there's going to be some tiers of you guys submitting topics, you guys giving us ideas for Kayla's comedy, for my dancing. Put your input on that and really choose like either the topics for Kayla's monologues or songs for me to put routines together to,
Or
as
just
well as a
stuff
few
we
other
can't
people.
talk about on here. I
Oh
mean,
heck yeah. Stuff uncensored topics that you guys want us just to rant on that we can easily go ham on and won't have to worry about having to censor ourselves right now. Or just even have a simple Discord and just chat with you guys live for about once a
yeah.
month or whatever.
Or if you want to watch me cook some pasta and eat it, I mean, I'll do that on camera too. So,
Yeah, so it's all open ideas right now. We're still building that. But in the meantime, still follow us on Instagram. We'll subscribe on YouTube. Hit us up on Spotify. Hit us up on Anchor. Hit us up on Google Podcasts. Until next week, TTFN, guys. Bye-bye.
can I say one more thing? Sorry.
Wow, I just did the outro.
I
Not
meant to
bye-bye,
say
guys.
I meant to say the
Goodbye.
part
I guess this is not goodbye, bye. Kayla, go ahead.
but aside from the Patreon, if you guys have anything you want to say to us, please give us feedback. We're growing and
Hit
we want
those
to know how to
comments
improve.
up.
Please comment, please DM. Like, the subscribe, that's how we know you guys are engaged. And we want to get a sense of what you guys want to hear. I mean, we'll riff on anything you want. Just send us a message.
Or just roast each other for like an hour.
Yeah, we can do that too. We could roast some marshmallows too. Like, whatever you guys want. Obviously, I'm hungry, but that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, I could tell you were at the start of this recording, and that probably was your timer that went off. But other than that, now can I tell the people goodbye?
Yes,
Lovely
goodbye,
people.
people.
All right, till next week, which will be a very special Mother's Day episode. Love you
Moms
guys.
are not funny. Well, we'll find out.
Moms may not be funny, but they have some funny stories. Till then, much love, everybody. TTFN. Adios.